Breaking news, Kwabena Adu-Boahene court and remanded for 7 days. Attorney General Moko calls into Asemono, Yebuabon, and remanded for 7 days. Yunkunenko Ts and 7. God bless you.
Boss of the National Signals Bureau, Mr. Adu-Boahene, has been remanded into prison custody, and our legal affairs correspondent Likee Judicial is standing by to give us the very latest. Latif, what's happening in court now?
Yeah, so the in-camera proceedings here at the general jurisdiction of the Accra High Court just ended. The ruling is that Kwabena Adu-Boahene has been remanded into prison custody for 7 days. That was the ruling by the trial judge. If you recall, on Wednesday evening, Yoko brought Kwabena Adu-Boahene here at the High Court. His pleas were taken. He pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. The Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayini, made a revelation before the court that surveillance he has, intelligence he has, shows that Kwabena Adu-Boahene attempted to interfere with potential witnesses in this particular trial, and so opposed to the call by his lawyers for him to keep on enjoying the current bail terms. That is the court bail he's currently enjoying. Now, when the judge heard that, he proposed that today there should be an in-camera meeting between the lawyers for the Kwabena Adu-Boahene and the Attorney General, and that was what transpired this morning. Now, after that meeting, the case was called. Now, this is giving a sense that indeed, when the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayini, made the point that he has intelligence, indeed he has something. And that is what has convinced the judge to keep or to order that Kwabena Adu-Boahene be kept in the custody of Yoko for 7 days. His lawyer, Atachia, pleaded with the courts to include the weekends so that Kwabena Adu-Boahene would have been in the custody of Yoko for 5 days. But the judge insisted that he really wanted the Attorney General to have 7 full days and not 5 working days as Atachia wanted to make the case in open court. It was a back and forth, but the judge made the point and stood his ground, and the ruling stood. So Kwabena Adu-Boahene will be doing 7 days in the custody of Yoko. Now, the second and the third accused persons, that is Adu-Boahene's wife and the other person involved in this particular matter, would keep on enjoying their current bail terms. Let's get a few words from the Deputy Attorney General, who is walking to his vehicle right now. Well, so he doesn't want to really say anything. That's the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Shemsai. He came in, but he didn't represent the state. The state was represented by a principal state attorney, largely because Dr. Shemsai appeared, quote and unquote, naked before the court, and so couldn't make a case. He allowed it. He passed it on to the principal state attorney, who did the case.
And that's Latif there, legal.
For say my who quite namrano and yejuma. Ye adiachi and almost I'm back council for us. I feel crowd assembly. Money president in Yadrin were boom rasho, one they court any other. To Ghana Association am I in 2 stands. And Honorable Afanya Market say on also air organize demonstration at the Etia and a Montuna air cost social suspended Chief Justice. And organized labor, ye 2 mudim be disorganized labor. May Day, also program Nasi Wamukasai. Say Omone president in Yadrin into suspension no and can on train sign. So many issues around this Article 146. Council of State any committee na ya set so omonye wadwuma no aba ewo ho innocent.
Yeah. Asemo. The dika ma mencha watie for we say Friday day and time PA, but here we are for God and country.
Sure.
And my men kase ye chichiro maya ya da bia me kase it will take the collective might and the collective effort of us all.
Yeah.
Those in power and those outside power, civil society organizations, carpenter, driver, wine, ye collective effort and ye kikambum and ye the chichiro mine. by the discharging this collective responsibility, we need to be very candid, we need to be very honest, and we need to be very dispassionate.
Okay.
Now, issues confront here, you find no cre, and yet ye nema. Ghana Bar Association stands on this Chief Justice issue now, because me until recently, Ghana Bar Association, and that's all.
Oh, are they?
Oh, yes, because, in the last 8 years, the atrocities are Akroma saying, the assault on the foundations of our democracy in this country, individuals who have been hounded, the integrity of the very judicial of which Ghana Bar Association has always been part, has been on the offense, downward offense has slide. Every single pool, every single thing be about a judiciary be just a time. Now we Ghana Bar Association at that moment could not find its voice. Nema na ekoso Akroma various attacks in Nemahuna na ekoso court ruling na se be ba na nyansa nim and the general public were rising, asking critical questions. This institution was very silent. Again, the president on several occasions, President Akufo-Addo, under his time, flouted the constitution of this country to the point where Dominivo issue court say the president's action were deemed unconstitutional. Samra or yes, this uncle say not on a single occasion, and I will see on my voice Akroma say. You have numerous appointments and our Supreme Court bench. Appointment and President Akufo-Addo a known partisan individuals. Among for them, a papa or a MPP ni uko whole central. Oko contest. It is not about whether the person qualifies or not. We are dealing with society. Civility is key. Bringing me on board will taint the integrity of the judiciary. Ghana Bar Association could not found their voice under these horrible circumstances. Once again, here we are change of government. Now President Mahama go through processes. Man for their brother or all of a sudden, then the dogs are backing once again. Oh yes, sir, nobody will take you serious. So for me, they are just backing. You understand? Just making noise for people to hear them. But as it stands now, they've lost their essence. They have no reputation. People don't respect them. People don't regard them. And into now various social media platforms. There are several people who have had their voice or found their voice on this matter. But Ghana Bar Association alone is going through a lot of ridicule, being because among for them said they are not credible. This is a political movement, not a bar association that is there to ensure say free and fair whatever rule of law by Akroma. It is a political tool, a rogue one that is being used by some individuals for a particular agenda. And for me, that is what they are. It's the reason why people don't assign any seriousness to them. This is a legal institution. Or Baba Kanchra and say, dear President Ayano, it's Yamra, and he unresigning decision. Or have rejoined a statement no what about one here. They could not. Let's say they could not assign a single reason. It's just a President Mahama Abu Mraso. And for that matter, you say suspension or the massage no onyai. We are not talking about coffee makers, so we are talking about lawyers. We say I know we are fundaka na camera masemo. We are talking about lawyers are talking law. So you should premise your argument on constitutional grounds. The infraction, legal infraction said we now so President Mahama Fumwe. The processes has been outlined. And it's in line with the constitutional provisions as outlined in the Constitution. There hasn't been a single deviation from any of the provisions. And again, Nipana are part of the process. Mo AD na omo president asene just to ensure that this process goes through. No, these are not any individuals. So we are talking about individuals. Former Chief Justice at the bench. So a former Supreme Court judge and and these are individuals that President Mahama cannot manipulate them. So for these people to go through the evidence that have been submitted, now Omwa running into a conclusion that there is merit to this particular way, and the president can go ahead and form a committee. The president did so, and again, so the rights are president the constitutional framers, had that discretion Emma President Amkwa, only he alone can exercise that discretion. And he says, when the committee is set up to investigate the Chief Justice, the President may, that is a discretionary injunction that is imposed on the President, or power, and the President has activated it. Ghana Bar Association has no power. They have no authority to order and answer call President Mahama to resign that decision. You can only beg him, because that is a discretionary power that is imposed on the president, and only he can exercise that power. So how dare you sit somewhere and say, your friend is only who to me now, who suspended the chief justice. Then I'm asking them, if I take you back to 2020, 2021, 2020 area, how baby, Abraham Manasseh, your friend say. Anas, an investigation now. Committee no find said there is a premier facia in the defense case now. Yeah, the command President Akufo-Addo no. Why then did he suspend your friends judges? No, he suspended 4 judges and eventually sacked them. At the time, I also suspended your mono. Now, some so at the time, no, Ghana Bar Association never find anything wrong with the move by the president at the time or exercise that discretionary power to suspend your friend is saying wait for no judges no. But today the same process is being activated that all of a sudden these people are backing like dogs as if you said they are relevant. But I'm say so person nipa take you serious wa ho kwan fa so ababo abrabo. Some meeting no mkoye no kra no over 5,000 lawyers in I'm told say around 52. That tells you how unserious this whole institution is. You understand? And in some more kind of for me, because there is no single reason, there is no logic, there is no sense, and again there is no legal backing, legal basis, or any constitutional basis for any of the argument they are making. That is what I'm saying. They are just backing like dogs. Because as many people will take you serious when you premise it, oh, President Mahama breached this constitutional provision. And for that matter, no, the president need to. He has done this, and these are lawyers making. But if lawyers are talking like coffee makers, are just assumptions, suppositions, just throwing things, just like that, people will not take it serious. So if the president even want to go by your directive that he has breached any of the constitution, point to him which aspect of the constitution and what breach, so that we all come and says, oh, President breached this constitutional provision, and for that matter, no, there is the need for him to bring the Chief Justice back. But if lawyers are talking like this, they are being driven by emotions, and when you are driven by emotions, you lose your senses. You talk foolishly, and for me, that is what is driving them for a way. But these are institutions that is supposed to be part of the foundational, your friends say, organizations. A bit you expect to say they will be very intelligent, they will be very smart and very way. But sometimes you listen to people on TV and you wonder, say, we are because sometimes the way they speak, you even wonder. You understand? You've seen a couple of them on TV. Sometimes it identifies the credibility of our legal institutions in this country as to whether the kind of ethics, morality, and those kind of we are entitled to belong to whichever political party of our choice. Nobody can take that thing away from us. But when you want to engage in public discourse, be mindful that you are speaking to intelligent minds out there, not gullible fools. So assembly must be, your friends are factually coherent, must be premised on something substantial. I have a manipulator. Asama Brante. And again, the basis of the petition, it has no partisan inclination. For instance, police in the make a way. This is the police officer. As I'm starting with Takrade. Your friends, a beach front or Takrade and our town. Not on town cry, Bronino call Netherlands, and on the girlfriend called 4G, Bronino documents, and over Thomas, I send the man, your friends, a police officer, and or toy. As some no call causes some power of a tone in or banning the tongue, property in the Bruni, and the man, a police officer, and a forgery. And I will do some good police in as a lawyer, no, a sen call your due diligence. One thing and once in order about Supreme Court. Supreme Court, and yes, some bugu in swa, or the Chief Justice Konya Banta. I hold back and forth for my no two ma or there are some course right and they were control petition thereby and the president and in this particular case, which aspect of it in a President Mahama involved? Because a personal beef between the Chief Justice and a police officer who is a lawyer out in the Nyasem. The other petition also talk about your friends infractions are so I don't know and you been a tro you a audit service and kasa a institution of Ghana accredited and a quiet judicial service more audit and who these infractions and will be a chance on these infractions and our the rules and the yan sanction and several other courtroom nema akoso. So in any of these instances, baby and who bet me say ebia NDC ni bia na so obi na search na say we na search until so obi nya sa nema no. Let us dwell on the facts being raised in this petition. One
of the petition court high court a ruling ma BBG abo. Say you reinstating back today. And no say ruling near the buy and
yes. Yes. That is the third petition from Sunshine, that group called Sunshine. So who read that petition? Na yet me bo court is a court on just air time near my womb air time. So some of these near my wedding in can be and over the years the integrity of our judiciary, has been sinking, and as a country, it is our sacred responsibility and our constitutional duty as people to ensure that we sanitize this institution. That is the clarion call by a larger section of Ghanaians on the president, and that's exactly what he's doing. So what the hell is going on? If Ghana Bar Association, an institution Ghana for free say baby ananka your constitution kakra bi kuroma say nka lusu democracy. They never found their voices. So over sana people see you become a bunch of hypocrites. Nobody will take you serious. Over the years, when the nimsa ade kura kuroma efe Ghana Bar Association, all of a sudden people knew say when John Mahama president and they will come back and shamefully here they are once again barking like dogs. The question is all these years not Ghana democracy sinking to a point and Ghana for wanted a military rule even more than democratic rule. Where were they? Their duty is to ensure that we safeguard the foundations of our democracy. Where were they? These are legitimate questions any sensible person. You see, this emotional campaign being activated by these people, for me, is a senseless one. Nobody will take them serious. And maybe they don't know. President Mahama this time around is a different Mahama. He's not someone who will fall for some of this nonsense. He's not somebody who will fall for some of the theatrics. He's determined and focused on what he's doing. Because the mandate that has been imposed on him by Ghanaians is far bigger and larger accident. He cannot afford to fail the people of this country. So as long as the people of Ghana want institutions to be reset, he will do so. And he will not default because the very moment of a default, and for me, his focus. And for the MPP as a political party, I find your mark and say, oh yeah, way. Makata said, these are shameless bunch of individuals. They have lost cause. They have no credibility. There are people no serious mind will take them serious. Party na lusu. A very embarrassing faction. I expected they would just go back and then do self-introspection. The thing is that you may be dissatisfied with the turn of events. But the question is, in seminar month for they con, is it legitimate or it is not legitimate? And process here, air course when they under your turn, you follow through and you do the same thing. And because it is John Mahama today, already on Ghana, as president, leaving the powers a constitution in the man he cannot exercise. Now, no, make catch yourself. NDC time, Professor Mills appointed your friends a Mame Loretta, your friends a Lamte, as your friends a Shraj. Another prayer, and the one Richard Nyama, a petition President Mahama said, Mamina Disika. President Mahama set up a committee to say, well, yeah, almost set it up. Your premier for see a the Omuyena. At the end of the day, the president sacked the woman appointed under NDC by Professor John Evers and Tamils. Went through the process. Now, even in opposition, then submitted a petition to the same John Mahama. He followed through. Now, Wasaki Nipana. Now, or baby doing is no be. And the petition bar. What you say is that that person cannot already or yeah because on nipa. And again, Chief Justice na adwuma na oye what people should know said there should be a clear distinction being a Supreme Court judge and being a Chief Justice. They are two different things. This is a judge clothed with administrative powers. So you are more than a judge. So the decisions and the choices you make, our administrative impact effect. And if you do anything contrary to rules of engagement, you can be penalized for that. But don't assume say you are being penalized because you are a judge. No. administrative duty that has been given to you. Sadia na doctors in who or when a teaching hospital the person is not being punished because he's a doctor. He's being punished because a doctor being given extra administrative duty. And administrative duty in the discharge of it, he has defaulted. And that is why he's being punished. You understand? So what you wanna say, what would need clarity of thought? Now, if you want to do narrow thinking, if you don't want to do expanded thinking, if you want to go linear way, this is the way you think. And sometimes I feel so surprised and ashamed when I see old men with BS sitting on TV calling themselves lawyers, talking rubbish. Sometimes when they speak, they appear more confused on issues of law, even more than a coffee maker trying to understand law. That's what I'm saying, sir. Because sometimes some of these people, because honesty any their part into Ghana na with me sorry time about two lawyers back on the same issue. Interpretation with here depending on baby obi agina across the political the same classroom, learn the same thing. But because of dishonesty, they will never agree on anything. And in some more cano, it's not driven by nyansao, it's driven by emotions. And that is why